What's up, guys? Alright, this is war number 7. We've got ISO8a. At the time that we entered this war, both we and ISO8a were 5-1. I believe we were 4th overall in Master. They were 2nd, maybe, or 3rd. And they're the only alliance this season that has beaten Kenobi. Kenobi finished last season 1st overall and has finished 1st place in the seasons era maybe like 18 or 19 times out of 24 seasons. So anyway, we knew that ISO8a was going to be a really tough draw for us here. Alright, so I will be going over my fights, but I actually took all of my fights after the global came down. So before, we were matched up against the Bulwark global here, and before we get into my fights, I actually want to go over the strategy for using Quake against Dragon Man on a stun immune node. Now, I'm going to first show a duel because I did some math, I did some tinkering and some duels, and ultimately the goal was to figure out if Quake was going to be a viable and controllable option against Dragon Man on node 49, which is stun immune. Obviously in duels, there's not stun immunity, but alright, so in this fight here, what I'm doing is I'm counting to 8, and then I'm going to start charging my heavy the moment that he gets 1 bar of power. Now, he's definitely going to throw that in my face, which is totally fine. When he throws his SP1, he is going to expire his power charge buff, and then my concussion is going to prevent his power charge from returning. When it tries to return, he'll be concussed, and thus it will shut off for the remainder of the fight. It will never come back. So I was like, alright, this is actually pretty sweet. I had Bryn, who's our best Quaker in the Alliance. I had him take this fight in the actual war. He also took the boss. We're going to see both of those fights and see how it played out in real life. But here he goes in. This is node 49, hazard shift, stun immunity. He's using an invulnerability boost. There you see the power charge buff. And basically he just wants to wait to start charging his heavy until Dragon Man gets a bar. So boom. He starts charging his heavy. Dragon Man throws it right in his face, just as planned. Now here, he screwed up a little bit. He gets cornered, and he, because he was knocked down, Dragon Man goes unblockable, hits him a couple times, and because he's cornered, he took a little extra block or burst damage. But at this point, guys, you'll notice that power charge is nowhere to be seen underneath Dragon Man's health bar. He has completely shut it off with the concussion timer. And I will say that if you can get rid of power charge, Dragon Man is one of the easiest defenders to Quake because his animations are so huge and clunky. They're very easy to identify and avoid. So at this point, Bryn has this fight on lockdown. It's just a matter of whether or not he gets through it without making another mistake. And Bryn very seldom makes mistakes. That first one, I think, I'm not actually sure. I did talk to him about it. I think it was kind of just nerves. Once he got cornered, it looked like he just missed one little dash. And because Dragon Man was unblockable, he nailed him, and he took quite a huge health loss because of the burst damage from being cornered, which is that little red passive icon underneath Quake's health bar. That just means that you're in your corner and Dragon Man's going to get bonus damage if he hits you. But yeah, at this point, the fight is over. So basically, in this fight, it's just, can you survive the first 15 seconds? If you can, you're going to win the fight. And this fight, this matchup, is going to have a huge impact on our season. You guys will see a little bit more about that in the next war video. I will tell you who we faced, and we'll go through it at that point. Here, he's taking his rank 3 Killmonger against a rank 3 mcoc boss. And again, this is Bulwark. So if he deals 3% damage, or if he deals enough damage to take away 3% of mcoc's health, mcoc is going to go, he's going to get an indestructible buff that can only be expired if the attacker if the attacker's not metal, if they throw a special or land a special, then it'll go away and then it'll go on cooldown. And if the attacker is metal, then you can just apply a DOT effect to expire the indestructible. You can also just nullify it with a Mystic Champ or, you know, any kind of nullifier, because it is an active buff, the indestructible. But because the health is so boosted on the boss fight, or on the boss node, he's only going to trigger indestructible or bulwark one time in this fight, and I'll talk you guys through exactly when that happens, why it happens, and what the effect of that is. But you guys can see those little gray passive icons with the bleed underneath mococ's health bar. Those are the dormant bleeds. Basically, every bleed that he inflicts throughout this fight, he's going to also gain a passive dormant bleed that's going to stack against mococ. They'll not have any effect unless and until he throws his SP3. And once he does that, all of those dormant bleeds will activate, and you can get some absolutely crazy bonkers damage. So you guys have seen he's crushing it on the SP1 dexes, and just keeping his True Strike refreshed, and then he's been recycling his SP1s because his SP2 would trigger bulwark. So right now he's building up to his SP3, and he's going to try to bait out one more SP1 here. He's going to punish it just to refresh the True Strike. I think he's going to go for another intercept. mococ doesn't comply, so he just throws his SP3 here. And watch middle of the screen underneath mococ's avatar, so right about where Killmonger was standing right there, you see indestructible pop up. So he did trigger bulwark from his SP3, but because his landed SP3 was a landed special attack, it also expired the indestructible right away. And that's why mococ did not have any lasting indestructible buff. Alright, so here we go. I have 5 fights. 2 of them I am petrified of, or let me say this, 1 of them I'm terrified of, and then 1 of them I have done earlier this season, but I know that it's a pretty dangerous fight. And so yeah. So also at this point in the war, we are handily winning, which is awesome. But alright, so I don't have any bulwark to deal with. I do have a couple metal defenders to face. So I'm boosting up nice and beefy like. And I'm going to use Apocalypse for both of these first 2 fights. So Apocalypse is a very, very strong option for Mole Man anywhere on the map. But because this path is Strike, Counter, Fury, you guys see those numbers underneath my health bar. If any of those numbers reach 0, Mole Man is going to start gaining passive Furies, as you guys see underneath his health bar. And those can never go away or be reduced throughout the fight. All I can do is prevent more from being added. So what I also need to do here is I need to time my combo so that I'm pushing him over a bar of power when I can chain my own special. Because I can't remember the note is called, but I only get power when he gets power. But anyway, as you guys can see, this fight is very, very safe with Apocalypse. I am done running suicides with Apocalypse for the most part. I will be running him, I believe, in the next war, just to get absolute maximum damage. I'll talk about that then. But yeah, I've come to realize how sustainable he is just in this war and the previous war. If you are running him without suicides, he really does not need any help with damage, especially boosted in war. And, that was with 1 genetic code boosted. The damage was totally fine. Now I have 2 genetic code, and I'm entering this fight against a rank 3 Weapon X. This was the fight that I was absolutely terrified of. And I brought Warlock really as, as a backup for this fight in case I just completely got effed with Apocalypse. And then also Warlock helps with Magik. He's going to give her a nice little synergy for her damage, and she's going to be fighting a rank 3 Apocalypse later. Alright, so I used my last invulnerability boost here, and yeah, I'm pretty familiar and comfortable with fighting him, but because it's got Strike, Counter, Fury, and Power Focus 1, I want to start with the heavy. I'm going to use both of my heavies up, so now he's got some passive Furies, and then I'm going to go full combo into an SP1. And those little green claw mark passives underneath his health bar. Those are his rage stacks. Once he gets to 25, they're converted and he becomes enraged, or he goes berserk. He becomes insanely aggressive. He's going to be passively unblockable until those charges fall back to 0. So there, I screwed up totally. I got clipped, or I just totally mistimed an intercept. But I fortunately had a bar of power, and I was able to salvage the fight. And at this point, that little timer underneath his health bar is the cooldown for rage. So I can just kill him before he's ever able to activate Berserk again. One more SP1 and he's done for. So kind of sloppy fight. I was definitely nervous about that fight. And I'm going to end up taking that exact same fight against a rank 3 Weapon X in the next war. It's going to go a little bit differently. So I have 3 fights left. 2 are Magik fights. Both of the Magik fights are incredibly easy with the global down. But I have this Mysterio here on Spite. I do believe I'm going to pop... no, I'm not going to be popping any gray boost, I don't think. Because I don't really need it in this fight. It looks like I do still have invulnerability. Nope, alright, I lied. So I popped the Advanced Power Start boost, aka Power Start 1 boost. And, yeah, I'm like, did I click it or not? Apparently I didn't replace it. Or maybe I did, and I don't even know what's going on. I remember freaking out in here. I was like, what the hell? So I back completely out. And I'm like, alright, that's still indestructible. Like, what the hell is going on? I go back in and it still shows that I have 2. So I'm like, replace, okay. So there, it finally replaces, whatever. So, this fight is super easy with Magik. Absolutely would be a lot more difficult with Magik with Bulwark up. But yeah, so here, what I want to do is just parry. Back off. I want to shorten my combos, make sure that I'm landing my parries, and I'm going to try to get off my SP2 before he ever throws an SP1. He is going to get to a bar of power before I get to an SP2, and in that case, I want to back off Turtle and just land a reparry. So here we go. Or beta heavy. I bait the heavy, getting him power locked, and the fight's over at this point. He was also, you know, Mysterio is generally extremely aggressive, and he was like super passive in this fight. I don't think that I caught him on a stand-up intercept until the end of the fight, and my first 2 backdraft attempts, he totally ignores me. There I finally get him with the stand-up intercept, but I decided to go full combos because he was being so weird on the backdrafts. There's some stand-up intercepts. At this point he knows he's dead, so... He's just letting me rail him. Alright, this next fight, this was the other one that I was a little bit concerned about. You guys have seen me take this fight earlier this season, but I'll be using Apocalypse here, and I used up my last invulnerability boost earlier against that Weapon X, so I don't have an invulnerability boost here. I'm going to use 7 of my potions from Glory. Ouch, that hurts. But I do have a Power Start 1 boost here, and I am going to throw back on a 200% Mystic boost. I always like to back out, and I just want to see, because there's that little visual bug where, like, if you replace a class boost, it still shows a previous class boost, so I just wanted to see it there. Anyway, go into this fight, and the name of the game in this matchup against Fury, really using any attacker, is just patience. So it does have kinetic transference, and you can actually use that to your advantage if you're able to reparry. So here I want to turtle immediately, let him hit into me to get him to his SP2 so that I can fully dex it, and then I can just punish his SP2 because Stubborn is gone. And what I want to do is I want to try to have an SP2 ready when he gets into his second life. So I'm going to do 4-hit combos right into the block immediately, just straight turtle mode. Alright, then I'm going to fully dex this. I am going to punish and go right into the SP2, which does a decent amount of damage here, and pushes him over 2 bars of power, which is perfect. I'm going to do the same thing here. I might actually try a backdraft attempt. I couldn't remember. Nope. All right. So I'm going to hit into his block, throw a heavy, go right into turtle mode, stay turtling. All right, there we go. I need to bait this out. And then I can throw my SP2. I'll get power back from my Mystic or my Mutant boost. And then I can have I'll have an SP2 ready when he's in his second life. So I just need him to throw this special. That's really all that matters. Because if I get cornered here and he won't throw his special, then I could definitely be in trouble. He finally throws it. I throw my SP2. Look at my power meter. I'm getting a ton of power back because of the Mutant boost. So I want to hold. Again, I'm just trying to turtle up. I'm going to push him over the SP2, back off, bait it out, and then I'm just going to full combo him into my SP2, and the fight's going to be over. So again, name of the game there is just patience, and you know, use kinetic transference to your advantage. It does help that Apocalypse has a massive health pool too. But, alright, so this was the fight. I wanted to make sure that I was recording. I kind of had a thought where, like, well, what if I didn't record that? So this was the fight that I decided I'm going to throw on half suicides for this because I'm using Magik. So I really like to run 2 out of 3 in recoil and 3 out of 3 in double edge. I don't like to run Liquid Courage with Magik because it mitigates her healing from Limbo by 30%. So I like to go 2 out of 3 for recoil, and with those Mystic class boosts, I mean, my SP2s are going to be doing crazy damage, and I'm going to be getting a lot of power back. So this was the fight. This is great placement for Bulwark, and this was a fight that, frankly, I was not willing to have anybody take with the global up. Just way too difficult of a fight with Bulwark up. So yeah, so I am going to use another advanced power start boost. If you guys notice, I emptied out my PS1 boost and also my invulnerability boost this war. I know that I've alluded to it multiple times. That has kind of a pretty big impact on the next war video. So, you know, if you like these war videos, be sure to check that out. But, alright, so here, same thing. I just want to go turtle mode. Alright, and now I need to make sure that I hold my block until he charges at me, and then I want to do a dash back, special intercept. Now the fight is over. If he were to throw that SP1 into my block, or just if he were to throw the SP1 at all, I can't fully dex it, at least consistently. He would have gotten a lot more power back, and I could have been in some trouble. But, yeah, I mean, my specials are doing crazy damage. He's just completely letting me beat his ass in the corner. And fight is over. War is over. So, that is it. BG3, yet again, just absolutely demolished the map here. I'm going to get a little bit NSFW here. Because I was super pumped about our clear. BG3 really has been so good all season. I'm just so proud of everybody in BG3. Draymond saying, told you, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die to Weapon X. And he was like, no, you're not. But I think that he was trying to jinx me because he definitely wants me to die. Anyway, all right. So here's the score, BG3. We finished with only 1 death, and we smoked him, man. No offense to those guys over there. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just really proud of it. Here was our final. We finished with 4 deaths. They ended up finishing with 16. Here are the cards. We have JD and BG2 using Ghost for 8 fights. Clown got a boss solo, I think. Maybe not. I can't remember, but using Falcon. And then, of course, Bryn, the legend. That is it, guys. Leave a like and a comment. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.